Okay, so half note is 2 counts, half note, and this is a half rest. So like this one is a quarter rest for this quarter note. We also have a half note and a half rest. The half rest sits on top of the line like this, and it looks like a hat. If we could draw a little head under here. And this is a whole note, hold it, gets 4 counts, and a whole rest. And this one sits, hangs on to the note. Like if we had a little person walking here, he'd fall down in the hole. So a whole rest looks like a hole, and a half rest looks like a hat. And the half rest gets 2, just like the half note, and the whole rest gets 4, like the whole note. This is a half note dot, a dotted half note, and it gets 3 counts because the dot adds 1 count to what we normally would have as a half note. So 1, 1, 1, all 3 of these get 1 count, 2 counts, 3 counts, and 4 counts. Most of you haven't learned this yet, but it's sharps and flats. So when we play the black keys, it's going to be either a sharp or a flat. So most of you have played the black keys before. We started with those. So a sharp means to go up a half step, and it looks like this on the music. It's right before the note. So if this was an F and it has a sharp, instead of playing this note right here, we go up a half step to the black key. So that means to go up. The flat, if we think of things that are flat, they kind of fall down like a flat ball is squished down to the ground. So it means to go down a half step. So instead of just A right here, we have A flat. So we go down a half step to the black key. So in your music, if you see this one, it means to go down a half step, and this one means to go up a half step. We're back to our grand staff and now we're going to talk about intervals so you know what these are. It's how far it is from one note to the next note. So we already know that from a space to a line, that's a step, but it can also be called a second because we count this note as 1 and this note as 2. So from here to there is 2. Let's look at it in a few more examples. This one you know as a skip from a space to a space, but when we're counting it, we have to count from this note up to this note and all of the lines and spaces in between. So this would be 1, 2 on this line, 3. So instead of a skip, it's called a third. Then this one, we'll count together 1, then the line note is 2, the space is 3, and we end on 4. So this is a fourth. You'll also see that some of the notes here are stacked up on top of each other, and some of them aren't. The ones that are stacked up on top are called harmonic intervals. Harmonic means they're harmonies. So they are played at the same time. That's harmonic. The ones that are not stacked up are called melodic, like a melody. Melody notes aren't played at the same time. They're played one at a time, kind of like a 5-finger pattern. La, 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 la. So they go one at a time and no stacking. So this is a melodic third, and this is a harmonic third. Seconds are kind of tricky when they're harmonic because they're so close, but you got to make sure that they're touching, and that means that they're harmonic. If they're not touching, then they're melodic, like this step or second right here. And that's all you need to learn for your test, and then we'll review a couple more things on Quizlet.